Hey, Faye. Welcome, Alison, Kay. Thank you for joining. Awesome to see you, lovely ladies. Let me just get organized here. Okay. Just pop this chat box up. Can you guys see there's a chat box just in the bottom there that you can ask questions if anything pops up during our call. I have way too many things on my screen. This is what happens when I work on a little laptop. Hey, Linda, thanks for joining. So good to see you. How's everything in your end of the world? Where are you guys coming in from? Drop me a little comment. Tell me which country, city you're in. Now, I just need to mute somebody. Somebody's got their microphone on. I think I can hear a little bit of background noise. Can you guys just check your mics and just check that you're muted? And if you're not, just mute that. That would be fab. Okay, let's dive in because we are running a couple of minutes behind. So the topic of this call tonight is raw foods, the basics, proteins. Oh, thanks, Linda. Appreciate that. Yeah, the the microphone is muted. I can't speak tonight. Anyway, let's get into it. So raw foods, the basics, proteins, B12, fat-soluble vitamins, a bit of a debate around that and where to get them from. And, you know, the question is, really a lot of us are asking, is being plant-based sustainable long-term? So we're going to cover that in tonight's call, and this is my second Q&A masterclass, and also welcome to my Everyday Healthy tribe who have joined me tonight as well for this call also. This call really is about exploring raw vegan, being plant-based, covering some of the basics, and talk about some of the plant-based myths that that are floating around, and we can explore the importance of B12, protein, fat-soluble vitamins, and where to get the best sources of these from on my version, in quotes, of a plant-based diet. And I say in quotes because there's a lot of plant-based diets out there that are quite different to what I teach. Sally from Denmark, but you're in Western Australia. Awesome. Welcome, guys. Yeah, so in this call, you really gain an understanding of how raw vegan plays a really important role in being the main player in getting your health upgraded, and how it does that, and what to do on a daily basis to ensure that you're reaping the benefits from the raw vegan foods and using food as your medicine, because that's what it's all about at the Raw Food Kitchen. Hey, Alison, welcome. You're in Perth, beautiful. So a little PSA before we get started. So I'm not a naturopath or a nutritionist, and what I share with you is based on my experience from my own personal healing journey that I had. I'm switching from a normal standard diet to going raw vegan, plant-based, and how I've made being plant-based sustainable for about 10 years now. And, you know, and by no means what I'm about to share with you guys is exhaustive. And I always encourage you to experiment with it all, like reconnecting to your inner intuition and guidance, and cherry pick what works best for you. Everybody is unique, and, you know, we're all at different stages in our lives, so we will have different needs and requirements. For example, like an athlete compared to somebody who's sedentary has different dietary requirements. So yeah, let's dive in. So the call's going to be about half an hour in length, and I'm going to leave some time at the end for a Q&A. So please just pop your questions in at any time in the chat box if you do have something that you want answered. And do have a pen and paper handy to take some notes, because we will be going through a bit of a list of those vitamins and, you know, some of those theories. So what is raw food? So a raw food diet is about eating mostly or unprocessed and cooked foods, and this way you get all the nutrients and the precious vitamins and enzymes that are not cooked out in a way that the body knows what to do with it. It gives your body a break from digesting over time. And this way utilizes this food for healing and building a really healthy body. So despite what you might have heard, like raw food isn't a fad diet. It's been around since the 1800s, and it really is more like a lifestyle that simply promotes eating more real foods in their natural state. And, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be just fruits and veggies, of course. But really the goal of raw foods is that it's just to obtain as many nutrients in an easy to digest manner, and one that in a way that our bodies are naturally suited for. Precious enzymes that haven't been cooked out or heated really do give the body a break from digestion. And when it has less time or less, you know, work required to digest, it's got more time to clean house. It's got more time to heal. It's got more time to regenerate. It's got more time to clean up dead rogue cells and to create new healthy cells and replace those old damaged cells. And, you know, the studies and the evidence is there to prove that. And if you include a raw food diet, these are the things that you can experience: a lowering of inflammation, improved digestion, more dietary fiber. Most of us don't get enough fiber in our diet, so this is really important for moving food through the colon, improving heart health, helping with optimal liver function, preventing cancer, preventing and treating constipation, giving you loads of energy and, you know, great moods, clearing up your skin. I had constant cystic acne all over my chin when I was unwell, and that cleared that up incredibly. And then it lowers the amount of anti-nutrients and carcinogens in your diet and helps you maintain a healthy body weight. So when I went raw vegan, I dropped about 4 kilos in 1 month without even trying. In fact, I was eating more food than ever, and I was eating cheesecakes, breakfast, lunch, and dinner as well. So, you know, this is because the food is done in its natural form. Okay, but depending on what type of raw food diet you choose to follow, you know, there's more than just the fresh produce. You can have fish, you could do sea vegetables, fermented foods, sprouted grains are amazing, and sprouted seeds as well, nuts and seeds, eggs, and even some meat and raw dairy, if you can tolerate them, are totally fine. And of course, all those amazing superfoods that we have access to as well now. But really the thing that ties these various raw food diets together is that the main overarching thing is that nothing's been pasteurized or homogenized, radiated or produced or denatured. It hasn't had any artificial numbers and preservatives and all those horrible things added to it. So that really does mean avoiding, or at least greatly reducing, your packaged, your processed foods, things like breads, bottled, condiments, cereals, crackers, cheese, donuts, waffles, pancakes, McDonald's, refined oils, those nasty vegetable oils, those processed meats, and so on, you know, which is so prevalent in standard Western diet. But really, this is the first step to increasing your health. And in the beginning, you're going to want to aim to reduce these. So they sit in your 20% of your 80-20 plant-based diet, with the 80% being plants, of course. And ultimately, you want to eliminate most of these in the end and have that 20% replaced with healthier versions of these, or good quality organic animal protein, or gluten-free, dairy-free options. But also you'll see like the 20% also allows for a little bit of, you know, leeway of what you fancy. But, you know, this is what we want to be working towards, is this 80-20 rule. But, you know, going raw vegan from a standard diet is incredibly healing for the body, and really does give the body a chance to experience renewed health and vigor. It is the most amazing way to upgrade and detox while still getting to eat delicious food. There's no deprivation. You still have your cheese, your pizza, your pasta, your chocolate, your ice cream. But, you know, you've got to know how to prepare it, and you've got to know what ingredients to use to do it. But once you get that, it is just, honestly, it's like, why isn't everybody eating this way? Because it's just so amazing and so healing. But is it sustainable long term? So there are a few things that we simply cannot get from being raw vegan long term. And I've discovered this myself on my own journey. And this is why I'm sharing this with you guys tonight. But first, let's explore some more benefits of being raw vegan. So raw foods help alkalize the body. They reduce acidity. They have less chance of fermenting in the gut, causing inflammation and autoimmune reactions. And this applies to all of us, obviously, but some people who can especially benefit from eating more raw foods include people who have cancer, heart disease, have high blood pressure or high cholesterol. They have osteoporosis, kidney disease, gallstones, Parkinson's, autoimmune disorders, food allergies, fatigue, chronic fatigue, joint pain, muscle aches and pains, headaches, PMS, hormonal imbalances, trouble with weight gain, obesity. These are all the sorts of benefits for these sorts of people. If you're sort of suffering from anything like that, raw food is the number one place to start. A thing about the enzymes in foods, they're really impacted when they're cooked. So when anything's heated over 44 degrees, these enzymes and nutrients start to break down. And that's why eating cooked foods actually creates an inflammation response in the body, and it puts a huge load on the body when we are digesting, because it's calling on the pancreas and other cells to produce the enzymes, which we have a finite amount of in our body. And these are called endogenous enzymes, and when we eat raw foods, they supply their own enzymes, which are infinite, and they're called exogenous enzymes. So the greater our intake of exogenous enzymes, the easier time we have digesting, thanks to raw foods, and then we get the benefits of the body having time to heal. So it really makes total sense to be including raw vegan and plant-based. If we go talk about strictly plant-based, it is technically raw vegan for a lot of people. And you've got to remember too, like, disease develops more easily when the body is acidic, because acidity lowers immunity, and it also lowers oxygen in the body. And for those of you who joined my last mastermind, I talked about oxygenated bodies a lot. And this is what being alkaline means. It means oxygenated, and it means it's harder for disease to flourish. So whereas an acidic body is a great host to all those modern diseases listed above that we just spoke about, that are so prevalent and so avoidable in today's world. But unfortunately, this is our lifestyle now, stress, toxins, processed foods, refined foods. We're taking in things, that a lot of us most of the time don't even know where we're taking in, and then there's the cooked foods, lack of nutrients in the soil, and environmental toxins, and mineral deficient, chemical laden water. Chloride and chlorine and fluoride, and as just our general lifestyles in this modern day world tend to make us acidic, by its very nature. So, whereas raw foods really do help to neutralize this acidity and help alkalize the body. But the clincher is, for me, is that I believe that being raw vegan or purely plant-based is not sustainable long-term. As they tout in the Game Changer movie. Did anyone see that? Did you guys see the Game Changers? Yeah. Which I love the message, but honestly, being completely plant-based is, it's not sustainable. But anyway, let's dive a little deeper about this and why, what are the benefits of eating animal protein? So for a start, organ meats like chicken, liver, kidneys, some of these are the most nutrient-dense foods there are. They're extremely high in things like vitamin A, B vitamins, phosphorus, and iron. And some of these nutrients are just more easily obtained when you include some animal foods in your diet. For example, if you compare the nutrient density of organ meats to that of veggies like spinach or carrots, the organ meats outperform many of them. And other animal foods are great choices too. For me personally, I love eggs. They're a great source of choline. Fish is a great way to get your anti-inflammatory omega-3 fatty acids. Bone broth is incredibly healing, full of collagen and minerals and protein needed to build a strong body, and very healing for the gut. This is also why, for me, in my mind, long-term raw veganism is not very sustainable long-term. It's just way too easy to run low on critical vitamins and minerals and protein eventually. And it's really easy to do veganism in a really unhealthy way. There's too much soy in the diet. There's too many processed vegan products, too many refined carbs. These things are really easy to do for the average vegan. So I'm not saying it's impossible to do raw vegan or vegan long-term, but you would certainly need to be really clued up on your unique genetic makeup and supplement accordingly and specifically. then it's probably sustainable for you, but it takes a lot of focus and a lot of work. For me personally, I like to use raw vegan or going 100% raw vegan for periods of detoxing. And if there's chronic illness, yes, you can do it for longer, because it is extremely healing for the body. You know, and it's probably possible to do high raw vegan for a good number of years, which I did before it started to become an imbalance for the body. You know, when we do anything to sort of an extreme for too long, it starts to become an imbalance. No matter how good it is, it still becomes an imbalance when there's not that nice balance and flexibility, and we're not looking at other sources for getting all our nutrients in. So I did do high raw for a few years before I had to pivot after surgery. I think I've spoken about this before. A few years ago I had surgery and I just wasn't healing, and I started introducing bone broths and animal protein again, and I quickly snapped back into healing. You know, and this is also comes back down to what I talk about, is about learning how to have that mind-body connection again, and getting reconnected to your body, and having all these tools in your toolkit, and knowing what works for you by having that mind-body connection, so that you can go, oh, I feel like this is not really working for me right now. I feel like I need to do more of this. Let's try this and pull that in and see how that goes for me, and just keep tinkering away. Like, your body is the lab, and, you know, you're kind of like the scientist tinkering and experimenting. Okay, let's go on. So it's true that plant-based foods have protein, but they aren't generally complete proteins, meaning they don't supply all of the essential amino acids that the body can't make on its own, like animal foods can. Consuming some high-quality animal proteins products in moderation does make it easier to obtain enough amino acids, which are the building blocks for the body. Plus, you get your healthy sources of good saturated fats and omega-3s, the iron, the B vitamins, the zinc, selenium, and of course the fat-soluble vitamins, which are really hard to get in a plant-based or raw vegan diet. Again, everything in moderation. That's what I teach, and it's why I encourage you to follow the 80-20 rule, which is 80% plants and 20% quality organic protein or mildly acidic foods. You know, or in some cases for me, it's like 20% of what you fancy. It's just, you just got to choose wisely, you know, like a nice glass of organic red wine or some nice organic dark chocolate. You know, these are the things that will make up your 20%, or it could be a really nice organic cup of coffee with some almond milk, you know, and these are the things that create sustainability long-term for my version of a plant-based diet, as I do in quotes, because it's not technically a strict sort of dogma style diet. You know, and it's not really a green light for you guys to go and consume animal protein at every meal. I don't encourage that. You still want to consciously choose high vibe foods most of the time to get those benefits of, you know, of the plants and the vegetables and the enzymes and the nutrients. You know, but if you do choose to do the animal protein, make it your 20%. Make it the 20% of what's on your plate and not the other way around, right? So we want to be 80% greens, veggies, plant-based, and 20% of animal protein. And it doesn't have to be at every meal, but when it is there, that's the 20%. And definitely still include, you know, things every day, like your vegan plant-based protein powder in your smoothie. You want to be looking at, you know, maybe adding that into your cereal or your plant-based milk even. Still look at really good plant-based protein sources, such as hemp seeds, hemp oil, hemp protein, nut seeds, nut butters, spirulina, chia. They're all really great. And then top up with your animal protein occasionally. Phew, okay, I hope you're taking notes. So yeah, we really do need to look at how to create a healthy long-term plant-based diet. And this is one that really does for me, is this is sustainable. It's following the 80-20 rule. So mainly plants, 80%. And that could be some cooked with some raw, you know, just make them the alkaline foods. 20% of your diet's comprising of some mildly acidic foods. And, you know, that 20% can be your gluten-free or dairy-free options in here too, okay? Easy, right? So I want to debunk now, there's some of these vitamin and mineral debates. So let's talk about B12, because it's always a big one. People always go, oh, you're plant-based or you're vegan. Where do you get your B12 from? Because you don't eat meat. So I just want to share with some knowledge with you guys around that, because this is really where we get B12 from. Yes, we get B12 from animals, but people who eat animal meat necessarily don't have enough B12 either, and I'm going to dive into that. But let's talk about what B12 does first. So B12 benefits the red blood cells, the formation of the red blood cells, and it really improves cellular function. It prevents anemia and fatigue, and folate's really important for converting chemicals in the body for proper cellular functions and cellular division, and can obviously be sourced from animal protein. However, bacteria in your gut actually makes B12, as they do other Bs and vitamin K. So even if you eat meat, as I mentioned, you can still sometimes be quite deficient if your gut is not in tip-top shape. So this is a really common pitfall for a lot of people, as most people have gut imbalances these days. So most of us, deficient in B vitamins, particularly B12. So make sure you include plenty of fermented foods, in your 80-20 plant-based diet to really help this process along. And it's possible to, have great B12 on a plant-based diet if you're adding in some great fermented foods. Check out my Insta page. I've got a great sauerkraut recipe up at the moment. The sauerkraut turmeric collie, which is so good. And remember, the quality of the animal protein is really important. So, you want to look for a good organic source of protein. And there's, the paleo diet as well. I don't really promote paleo, even though they do have some great benefits. They usually include plenty of raw foods. In my opinion, there's still too much meat in that diet. It's still too much of a meat focus. Foods to choose from. My favorite foods that I really want to share with you, that I would encourage you to stick to eating regularly, are number 1, leafy greens every day. Every day for oxygen, you want leafy greens. 2, citrus fruits and fruits. 3, nuts and seeds, including flax and chia. 4, avocados. 5, fermented foods. These should be a staple in your fridge. 6, raw veggies like carrots, celery, peppers, tomatoes. Number 7, some animal protein such as organic eggs, organic chicken, some oily fish, some organic meats. I particularly love eating organic butter, and I'm going to share that why I love that in a minute with you guys. You want to include your extra virgin coconut oil. Number 9, lots of cruciferous veggies. Number 10, complex carbs like your pumpkin, sweet potato, quinoa, etc. And then some good quality vegan protein powder, and of course organic butter. Now I want to talk to you guys about the water-soluble and fat-soluble vitamins, so you can get a bit of background understanding. So water-soluble vitamins are naturally found in foods and in the water that resides in the food, so lots of that in fruits and veggies. And the body doesn't store them. We tend to just excrete them when if we don't need them. Unlike the fat-soluble guys, they are not excreted through the urine, so they need to have they need to be more bioavailable through a combination of the fats that they're in. So some of the B vitamins that are water soluble, for example, B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, B7, B9, and B12. Most of these are made up from our gut bacteria. So surprise, surprise. So B2, B5, 6, 7, 9, and 12 can all be made by the microbiome. So that is why, again, get that sauerkraut recipe into you. Those fermented foods and probiotics are just so, so important. Your B vitamins are crucial for metabolism, brain function, helps make neurotransmitters like GABA and acetylcholine, and GABA is particularly good for mood stability, helps with sleep. And then you've got healthy skin, hair, nails, helps with the production of glutathione, which is your master detoxifier in the body. And it helps the stress response with the brain adrenal axis, which is really important. It's great for heart health. It's great for healing. It's great for mitochondrial health, decreases pro-inflammatory bad guys. And it really is great for protecting the myelin sheath for your neurological system as well. So heaps of foods naturally contain these B vitamins. Of course, meats, as we talked about, nuts and seeds, make sure they're activated. Avocados, egg yolks, seafood, your green leafy veggies, and then your sulfur-rich veggies, you know, things like cabbage, and of course fermented foods, surprise surprise. And then we've also got our vitamin C, which I adore, and I'm talked about in my last masterclass, because we really need to increase our vitamin C intake right now, particularly liposomal C. It's much more bioavailable. And you need to be taking that every day right now for a tip-top immune system. And, you know, important because it produces, it's a potent antioxidant. It's crucial for a healthy immune system. Not only that, but it's great for healthy skin, bones, teeth, collagen. And yeah, you really can't overdose on C, right? Vitamin C. So just get it in as many ways as you can. But a ton of foods also contain that, right? So you're looking at your citrus fruits, your broccoli, your peppers or your capsicums. Actually has more vitamin C than an orange, which is great. Your leafy green veggies, strawberries, kiwi fruits, papayas, and then organ meats as well. Yeah, sauerkraut's amazing. Look, I could do a whole other masterclass on sauerkraut, Linda, and fermented foods, because they're just so amazing. Okay, let's talk about fat-soluble vitamins, because these are vitally important for immune, hormone, and brain health. So think good moods. These all come from your fat-soluble vitamins, and they're dissolved in fat and must be paired with healthy fats to be bioavailable. And number one is vitamin A. So vitamin A is crucial for giving your body a really strong immune system. And, you know, deficiency in vitamin A has been linked to rheumatoid arthritis and type 1 diabetes. And you'll find vitamin A in fish, shellfish, cod liver oil, liver, butter or ghee, which is my favorite as long as it's organic. And then you're obviously probably questioning, like, well, why are there no plant-based sources listed in here? And the plant carotenes, which are a precursor to vitamin A, are found in some veggies like sweet potatoes and carrots, but the conversion rate into the usable form of vitamin A is very weak. So it's not efficient. Then we've got vitamin D, that's a sunshine vitamin, and it's essential for your metabolic and immunological pathways. And in conjunction with vitamin A, it works synergistically to dampen down inflammatory responses. So, you know, great to keep your body free from inflammation. So as with vitamin A, vitamin D is really abundant in animal and dairy fats like mackerel, oysters, sardines, egg yolks, and my favorite again, butter. Okay. Of course, soaking up the sun is the best way, 20 to 60 minutes a day if you can. I mean, it's very hard for most of us to get that, especially for those of us coming into winter now, and for me in New Zealand, especially right now. You know, and also depending on your complexion, you know, but even 10 minutes a day is amazing. I would recommend getting tested every few months just to ensure that your levels are healthy. Especially coming into winter. Then we've got vitamin E. Now, vitamin E is a potent antioxidant. It's really essential to calming inflammation and supporting healthy and balanced hormones and immune systems. So you're going to find vitamin E in almonds, hazelnuts, wild salmon, not farm salmon, flaxseed oil, and again, butter, my favorite. I just love butter. Vitamin K2. Okay, K2 is really predominantly, it's such a nutrient deficiency in most people these days. And it's best or paired with other fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin D and the whole food form like grass-fed butter or ghee or organ meat. You'll find that all these fat-soluble vitamins work really synergistically together. And the beautiful thing about organic butter is that they are all in there, right? So if you're just having some organic butter every day, brilliant. And then there's also actually a really cool fermented food. I don't know if you guys have tried this. It's called natto. It's a Japanese fermented dish made from fermented soybeans, but they have a special enzyme they use for it, and it has really high levels of K2. It is divine. I love it, and if I can get hold of some again, I would start making it. If you guys want to explore that, I would see if you can jump into your health food store and see if you can get some natto to get started with. It's so good. And then there's also dandelion greens, there's Swiss chard, cooked kale. They all contain K1, which is converted to K2 in a healthy gut microbiome. So there you go, gut bacteria for the win again. And that means we really do need to focus on making sure we have a really healthy gut and balanced gut flora to get these nutrients that our body so desperately needs, and for us to be able to utilize them efficiently. So you can get some fat-soluble vitamins from plants, but they are not converted in the body very well. So choose some of the foods I've mentioned in this masterclass and make sure that you are incorporating some fat-soluble vitamins from that list, some of those raw vegan foods from that list, the fermented foods in your 80-20, and you will have a long-term sustainable plant-based, in quotes, diet. And, the other thing I love to do is, I love to make it a game at every meal, as my suggestion is to make each meal a fun challenge on how to make it as nutrient dense as possible, right? So think of ways that you can increase nutrients at every meal. And ways to sneak in superfoods and good fats and the fat-soluble vitamins and different vitamins and foods in their raw form. And of course, you want to be making your plant-based food tasty, so that you want to come back for more every time. Like, that to me is the most important part, because if it's not going to taste good, then you're not going to want to come back for more. You want to keep building on your recipe repertoire. Yes, of course, there's going to be kitchen fails, but, learn from your mistakes. And, it's like, you might fall down a bit in the kitchen, but get back up again and get back on that horse and go, what can I do to make it better next time? What can I do to get more of an understanding on what natural health is, and what does it mean, and what does detoxing mean, and how can I keep upgrading my health? These are the questions that I want you to be asking yourself, because this really also gives you forward focus. It empowers you about your health, and every little step and win gives you more confidence to keep going, and the journey just keeps getting better and better. Yeah, so I know this is a lot of information to take in, and what I've outlined. Oh, thanks, Mary, you're a darling. We're up to week 4 dinners, actually. So we're doing lots of yummy, healthier versions of the traditional stuff at the moment. Mary's on my everyday healthy course at the moment. Yeah, it can be really overwhelming if getting started and being not even sort of knowing what to do, or even having this knowledge that I've just covered now can still feel a little bit overwhelming, and some of you might not be sure about where to start. So it's hard, because that's when the self-sabotage kicks in, and then you don't really know how to detox. And if you're starting to go through detox and you panic and you blame the diet and you stop, there's just so many rookie errors that happen getting on this journey. And so, it really is important to be able to bring all this information together in a cohesive way, so that, you can start using plant-based food as medicine to be a successful, fun, sustainable, long-term journey. And that is what my Everyday Healthy online course is all about. It's designed to do just that. It guides you step by step through the process, getting your mindset right, understanding how to detox, and making plant-based recipes right, so there's no fail, and have you embodying feeling better in the body and mind without that struggle, without that self-sabotage. Having me by your side as your plant-based coach and guide is also amazing for support and reassurance and accountability. So I know there's Faye and Mary on the call with me tonight. And as I said, we're currently at week 4 dinners. This week we are making the chow mein, which is a delicious, healthy, plant-based version of the original recipe, which is usually a fried, processed MSG laden mess. So each week we journey through different meals. Week 1 is breakfast, week 2 is lunches, week 3 we do fermented foods, week 4 is dinners, week 5 is sweets and condiments. And I don't know if I'm allowed to tell you anymore, because the next few weeks are a surprise. Oh, actually, no, I am going to tell you, because I am going to be doing another kickoff actually on June 29. So if you're feeling the call to join me on the next round, and journey into plant-based and doing it successfully with me, having me by your side, we're going to be doing that on 29th of June, and we'll be doing it together online. And during our time together, we do weekly calls and live cooking. I share my knowledge with you on the plant-based lifestyle, as well as you get loads of chef time saver trips, can't speak, meal prep tips and tricks. Flavor balancing tips as well. You know, it's really important to know how to flavor balance plant-based foods, you know, and, you know, just, and also helping you, doing it with tribe as well is really important. Like having the support of people who are going through the same journey as you is really important too. So, you know, each week really is building on the next, so that by the end of the last few weeks together, you really have developed a really deep understanding on the foods, you know, the lifestyle, the kitchen confidence, the connection to your body again. So yeah, and then the detox protocols and the mindset, so that, you know, each week is a bit more of an upgrade, so that in our last few weeks we actually fast and do 100% raw vegan together, and that really is the final and easy step into the transformation that you've been looking for. And it helps make your plant-based journey stick, and helps make your plant-based journey sustainable, and it becomes the lifestyle rather than just what a lot of people term as a fad diet, and it's just something that you do for a week and then forget about it and go back to your old ways. So this course changes all of that. So what I might do actually is, I've got a special offer, which is not going to last for very long. Actually, the price is going to go up real soon, in the next 2 days. I'm going to offer it to you for 60% off. The course is normally retailing for $14.90, but it's going to be $5.96 right now, or five weekly payments of $149. And it's such an incredible offer, because I don't know of any other company that offers a health coach for 8 weeks and an all-inclusive guide and plan for transformation and immunity and a health upgrade at that price. So what I'll do, if you guys are feeling the call, you can, I'm going to put this link up, you can pre-register for that price. And if you do, I can't wait to work with you guys, because it is such a transformation. And it's a no fail. Like, you can't fail on this course. It's like and that's what it's designed for, because, you know, I see far too many people get overwhelmed and try to do too much at once, and then they don't ever succeed. So this course is really all about doing it in baby steps, so that it's achievable and successful. Yes, Linda, I've just popped the link up now. That is the offer for the 60% off. As I said, I'm not going to offer that price for much longer, because we're about to put a sales page up for that, for the next intake. The one after, actually for the intake of June, is going to go up. So if you wanted to grab it at that one, at the 60% off, that's the order form to grab that price at. And if you purchase, then I will be in touch, and then I keep in touch with you during our time before we kick off. And then a day before, no, actually not, that's a lie. I think it's about a week before, or 3 or 4 days before the actual kickoff date, you get access to the members area. And that is where you can access your week 1 modules and all your collateral and the videos, as well as the welcome from me, and access the Facebook group page. And really what I want to do, and part of this intention for this course as well, is to create a Facebook group page of tribe, of people like Faye and Mary and Rhonda and Bean, everybody that's doing this first round with me, so that everybody supports one another. You know, that, you know, you can talk to other people and you can ask questions, and the people that have done the course before or are already on that journey can help support you in that process as well, so that you're not alone in this journey. Because I know how hard it is to try and change your lifestyle or upgrade your health, or even do more raw vegan or plant-based, when you're not supported, when you might have a hubby, or you have friends that don't really get it. They think you're a bit of a loopy or a bit woo-woo, because, you know, it is not the norm. And, you know, unfortunately, I wish it was, but, you know, a lot of people still have very little knowledge on what it means to use food as medicine. And I'm seeing this actually feels like we're going backwards in this knowledge and education now. There seems to be a bit of an agenda about what we are shown on the internet, and how we are educated, and where the education is coming from is very biased, and we're losing our way, and we're losing connection to our bodies and the connection to food and how it serves us. And this is what this course does. It's when you reconnected to your body, getting in tune with how to use food to heal. And getting tools in your toolkit, you know, and as I said, like even in this masterclass, we've covered not just fruits and veggies, but all the other things that make up a really healing diet. And it's teaching you how to do that, use those tools in the toolkit and experiment with them and the protocols and the detox protocols, and knowing how to pivot when, you know, something's not working, and taking back ownership of your health, right? Taking back the confidence of knowing what to do and how to use food as your medicine, rather than, I guess, you know, outsourcing your health and your ability to heal to somebody else who doesn't really know much about your body and doesn't know much about nutrition. And so it's all about coming back to you, coming back to taking ownership, getting that confidence back into, you know, you taking control of your health. So that's what the course is about. Love for you to join me. The link is there. I am going to also post a recording tomorrow and pop an email out to everybody. So if you wanted to, you know, join as well tomorrow, as I said, that link will be there, but it's only going to be available for a few days before the price goes up. Okay, does anyone have any burning questions before we say goodnight? All good? Good to see everybody smiling, healthy, happy, well. So honoured to have you guys join me on this call, on this masterclass on plant-based foods and getting some knowledge, extra knowledge around how to use it as a sustainable way of living long-term. Have a great night. Lots of love from Chile, New Zealand, and I'll see you very soon. Bye for now. Bye.